Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. Should I stay or should I go? I've read a few posts and I know I'm a lot younger than most of you guys, but don't disregard me because of my age. I'm 20 and my girlfriend is 21, and today I found out my girlfriend of 3 years cheated on me with the dean of her school. We've been together since high school and we are currently living together. She's not a legal citizen and her mother was abusive, so we talked about moving out together for a while. I'm 1 semester into my bachelor's degree, but I put that on pause to work full-time to get an apartment together. I moved out of my mother's house and we've been living together for 2 months now. I never suspected infidelity. Once, about a year ago, she told me she thought she was falling for another guy at school. We had a serious conversation and I told her to choose what she wanted, but only choose me if she knew that it meant she was mine and I was hers. That I was hers alone and she was mine alone. After a lot of talking and crying, I forgave her and we've been together since. I didn't even suspect she was cheating on me at all. I found out by accident. She got a text from her dean at midnight last night and I opened her phone to see what he's doing texting her so late. She snatched it away from me. So tonight she's asleep and I'm putting her phone on the charger and I decide to check and see what it was he said. And I found a whole explicit series of conversations detailing their affair and how she was trying to make me extra happy today so I'd forget all about the texts last night. I considered going to my mother's house, but it's 6 a.m. where I am and it's a 2-hour commute and I don't want to go through that ordeal. I know if I leave her she has nowhere to go. She can't afford to live on her own and she has no family to turn to. She has a shitty job and she's almost finished with school, so I considered paying next month's rent and letting her just finish school and find a real job, but I don't even know if she's in the right state of mind to manage that much. I'm just torn and heartbroken and I don't know what to do. She doesn't want me to leave, but I don't know if I can stay. I told her we'd call her school tomorrow and report the dean and see what happens from there. I told her I need time to figure out whether or not I can still love her or be with her. She's lying with me right now. She didn't want to let go of me no matter how hard I pushed her away. She said it might be the last time she held me, so I just gave up and let her. Update: so now the dean has his family threatening me and telling her that they know where I live/work etc. Seems like BS, but I'm considering calling the police. Only problem is she won't testify against him because of her legal status. The harsh advice I'd give is to leave. I was guilt-tripped into letting my ex stay to try and work things out, but once a cheater, always a cheater. My ex lived a lie for years, pretending to be in love with me while she cheated away. Similar to you, I couldn't kick her out. She had no money of her own and nowhere to go. She'd have been homeless, trying to find a shelter to stay in. I now wish I'd booted her out. I'm sure my life would be in far better shape now had I done so. You're young, you'll find someone more worthy than a cheater in time. Relationships are built on trust. Once that trust is damaged, it's next to impossible to get back. Shay trying to manipulate you to stay as well. This whole bullshit show of remorse is clearly fake, as she planned to keep ducking you over. And yes, maybe you do still love her, but that doesn't take away the fact that she doesn't love you and betrayed you. You're young and you will find someone again, and hopefully someone who isn't a lying cheater, especially considering all you've done for her. She's trash. She wants you to stay because you literally found her life mate. To be quite honest, mate, you don't owe your ex shit. She ducked you over and when caught was planning to trick you and keep you there, so you're clearly being used. Tuck her feelings, they're no longer relevant. You gave her an out a year ago and she chose to use you and go after the other guy too. Just leave her before you end up getting stuck and torturing yourself. You clearly caught her and she tried to continue cheating. Thank you for the advice, but sometimes you just can't listen to your rational mind. I decided to stay. At least for now. I don't know whether or not I can trust her or if this relationship can go on, but I do know that I love her and I'll stay with her until I do know. stop being weak. You are nothing more than her security blanket. And you're accepting it. Do not be a doormat. Kick her out. She chose him over you, over and over and over again. Update, 5 years later and she's still cheating even in an open relationship. Update. Tried to repost on a throwaway because I realized she knows my Reddit username, but apparently you can't in this sub. Oh well, if she sees what she sees, duck it. It's almost 2 AM and I'm tired and frustrated. Sorry, this is a long and messy story, but the TLDR is in the title. I could use some advice here. I, 25M, caught my girlfriend of 8 years, 26F, cheating. Again. We started dating in high school and have been together since. About 3 years into our relationship I caught her cheating on me with the dean of her school, no less. I was devastated. I posted in r/survivinginfidelity for advice. I later deleted the post, but I will paste the Untitled link below. My previous post for context. After a lot of talking and coming to compromises, I decided to stay in the relationship. One of the compromises was having a more open relationship. I know now that opening a relationship after cheating is a terrible idea, but I was 21 at the time and stupid. We had experiences with other people and I ended up having an emotional affair with one of those people. I don't have any excuses for that. It was a shitty thing for me to do. After more talking and coming to compromises, we decided to close our relationship while we focused on our one-on-one dynamic. After a few months of discussions and arguments about boundaries and feelings and expectations etc., some of which led to tearful confessions and screaming matches but in the end came to level-headed conclusions, we felt comfortable and trusted each other again. We've been swingers/polyamorous on and off, a few months open relationship, a few months closed, since then, and haven't had any major issues. Until recently. We established the fact that we were okay with each other having separate romantic and sexual relationships as long as there was open communication. For reasons unrelated to infidelity, we mutually decided to close our relationship in November. We haven't been open since then. About months ago she went out with some friends to a club and texted me that she made out with another girl who was hitting on her and that it was hot. Now, we had been in an open relationship, and in that situation I would have enjoyed the fact that she's having fun with someone else. But we had mutually agreed to be closed and had not had any conversations indicating that we were opening back up. Our number one rule was open communication. I gave her the benefit of the doubt because she was drunk and having fun with her friends, but I told her the next morning that I was not okay with that and that it amounted to cheating if we were close and she was making out with other people. If she wanted to reopen the relationship, I'd be okay with having that discussion and finding a common ground that we were both comfortable with, because although I am not currently looking for another relationship, I wouldn't mind her pursuing that if she was communicating that she was seeing other people. She emphatically stated that she was not looking for another relationship and didn't want to fool around with anyone else. That it was a drunken mistake. I believed her. My girlfriend had a partner she had been talking to, let's call him Dan. Her and Dan had a sexual and romantic relationship, but before we even reclosed our relationship she had decided to break up with him and remain platonic friends. She still talks about him and complains about him occasionally. When they were in a relationship that had some glaring communication and boundary issues, she would often vent to me about them. She still occasionally vents that he still has boundary issues as a friend. Calling at all hours, expecting her to answer, trying to hang out constantly. In my mind I know that he still wants a romantic/sexual relationship, but I trust my partner that if she says she's keeping things strictly platonic she will. I mean, if she really wanted a sexual/romantic relationship with Dan, all she had to do was have that conversation with me, right? There's no reason for her to go behind my back and chest, right? Anyways, a few weeks ago I went out with some friends and she told me she's staying home because she can't find any friends to hang out with. Later on at night, around 10 p.m. she sends me a picture of herself in a dress at a bar and tells me she's having a good time. I assumed she was home because she hadn't told me otherwise, and it felt weird for her to send me that picture with no context. So I asked who she was with, and then she told me Dan. That made me feel uneasy. Another thing I noticed is whenever she talks about Dan or is complaining about something, she never says his name unless I ask. It's always him or he, or I hate it when people do X when she's talking about something that Dan specifically did. It's not until I question who is he or who are you talking about in specific that she says Dan's name. I've been feeling uneasy and anxious about this for a while now. I've let it fester, and I feel like I started to mentally clock out of the relationship in the last few weeks. It's been hard to say I love you and mean it or talk about our future. I've been depressed and lethargic constantly. I find it difficult to work up any enthusiasm even for the things I used to enjoy. I realize that isn't fair to her or to me, so I decided to try to be in this relationship until I had a chance to confirm it. I've been trying to be more loving and suppress those feelings of uneasiness for the past couple of days. Then I looked through her phone a few minutes ago. I found a lot of vague conversations with Dan asking her to hang out and her giving coy responses. I expected that. She's told me as much. He's always asking her to hang out and she's usually declining because he has no boundaries. Digging deeper, I see Dan asking to come over often and her responding that he can't because Verts lives here too. I didn't expect that. She never complained about him begging to come over. And the line about me living here too didn't sit right. He's been welcome in my house before. I wouldn't mind him being over. Then I find explicit sexual messages that I won't transcribe here. I know they didn't have sex at the time because she was in another state with a friend and was complaining about how he couldn't follow through with the things he wanted to do at the moment. But the implication was that she very much wanted him to do those things to her. We've been closed since November 2021 and she broke up with him a whole prior to that. So as far as I'm supposed to know, the last time they had sex was in October at the very latest. That makes it incredibly strange that they're sexting in July of this year with no prior sexual contact. I can only assume they've been meeting up secretly and having sex when I'm not around. I'd say I'm devastated, but I've already mentally clocked out. I'm disappointed and upset to say the least, especially since I've been trying to be present in the relationship these past few days. It's good to know definitively that I was right, but it still ducking sucks to be right. We have joint bank accounts, are renting an apartment together, over 30k of debt together that we've been working to pay off, and a dog together. I have finished my bachelors and we both have decent paying jobs. Here's a little more than mine, but with all this debt, trying to move out would be incredibly difficult. I've been daydreaming about staying in a miserable, loveless relationship for a few months until we pay off the debt, then just leaving without a word. I could confront her now, but I can't leave, so what would be the point? Working on our relationship again? Having long, tearful, heart-to-heart discussions full of apologies and compassion and breakdowns so we can trust each other again? Again? It feels like a fool's mission at this point. I wanted to spend my life with this person and have children. Having a dog was almost like having a child, and I love my dog. The dog loves her more, so she'd probably take him if we broke up, and that breaks my heart even more. I don't know if I can be in this relationship anymore after this, but I don't know what to do. I just feel defeated. I should have listened to this sub's advice 5 years ago and left, but now I feel stuck and betrayed. Edit, I know I have mental health issues. I have scheduled appointments with 2 different therapists. I want to end this relationship. I'm just struggling with figuring out how to do it. Those of you saying just leave and get a new apartment, good advice if I wasn't in a ton of debt. If I had the money to move all of my things and pay rent alone, I would. I don't have close family or friends to reach out to. I've been considering staying until the debt is paid off, but I don't know if I can keep this to myself that long. The best time to have dumped her was 5 years ago. The second best time is now. Consider litigation to allocate the debt if necessary. Well said. It will be better for your mental health to get out now. If you stay to settle the debt, some other thing will change, or eventually she will see you have truly checked out and just start taking advantage of you. If she finds out you are leaving in X amount of time, she may also get mad and financially ruin you. Not to mention getting the baby trapped. Now is the time, bro, get out. Mate, if you have 30k of debt, is it in your name or both? If it's in both, then you can probably split it now and leave ASAP. The dog I'm sorry for, but you have to see not who the dog loves but who would take care of the dog. STD test, of course. And even if you didn't leave 5 years ago, at least now you know and you learned from this experience, and you probably know what you want and don't want in a relationship. Cut contact as soon as possible and move on. Thank you for the advice. I think she would probably also take the best care of our dog. I didn't even think about STDs. I'll get myself checked today. Also order a PCR HPV test kit. That's the only way guys can be checked for HPV. If you do test positive, they can also identify the strain to let you know your cancer risk from this STD. Never put up with a cheater and then reward them with an open relationship. What were you thinking? Never put up with that disrespect. Go get an STD test ASAP, stop sleeping with her, and figure out how to split the debt between you two and move on. There is no trust, no loyalty, no honesty, no remorse, no commitment, no relationship. You're just two roommates who sleep together once in a while and share a dog and debt. She will beg and cry when you have the breakup talk, then she'll get nasty. Really nasty. I'll even bet money that she will bring another man into your mutual home and sleep with him in front of you. Get away from this woman before you end up with a permanent STD or a baby with questionable paternity. Was your daddy nightmare? In my mind, it wasn't a reward. Being open was something I had wanted too. I also had other relationships during that time. I know there's a stigma around open relationships, but I genuinely did enjoy that dynamic when I thought we were both being open and honest about things. I will be getting tested today. It may not have been a reward in your mind, but she did a bad deed, and then you were like, well, it wouldn't be a bad thing if I just let you do more of it. You're right. In hindsight, it was pretty idiotic. Human, my dude, it was a very human decision. You're no idiot, just young, dumb and in love. Ultimately, you can make this a learning experience. It means a lot to have someone say that. Thank you. I've gotten a lot of harsh responses, which I get. I deserve that. I appreciate the compassion. Yeah, look at my history, I'm harsher than most. In your case though, you don't need it. You already see the path that led you here. Some folks need a truth kick to the teeth to see that path. You'll be alright, my man. I'd caution against open relationships in the future, but that might take a few more times for that to sink in. I wish you the best. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are.